Good morning, Flosstube. Welcome back. My name is Stuart, and you have found Stuarts and Stitches this morning. This is Sunday morning, the 8th of June, and this is Flosstube number 27. Hello again. It's Sunday. Another week has passed. I hope you've had a great week stitching. Mine hasn't been too bad. It's a lovely looking morning. I see sunshine and there's a bit of blue sky. Probably won't last long because the forecast tells me we have showers later, but I enjoy the sunshine when I see it. It's looking lovely. Welcome back to you all. Those of you who return faithfully week after week, it's great to spend some time with you again. Share with you what I've been up to. Here below in the comments what you've been up to. It's always good to hear that. And to those who have recently signed up to the channel, welcome aboard. I hope you continue to enjoy what I'm sharing with you. Please drop a comment and let's get to know each other a wee bit. Share what you're stitching on, and also definitely share what you're stitching on while you're watching. It's always good to know what people are working on. Assuming most people do what I do, watch Flosstube while they're stitching. As my evening process, I will sit and stitch and have Flosstube on in the laptop and see who's been doing what. Always good fun. And anybody who has just stumbled across the channel, welcome. I hope you do enjoy what I share with you. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Always lets me know that people are enjoying the content. That applies to anybody, not just new people. Everybody, please. A thumbs up tells me that what I'm doing is entertaining you or interesting you or some positive aspect anyway. If you do enjoy what you're seeing, again, give it a thumbs up, think about subscribing and maybe ring the bell. I post every Sunday and it's usually, whatever time you're seeing this, is usually about the time it'll have been posted. I think, if that made sense. It did in my head. Right, what are we going to talk about? Oh, that was part of the welcome in the intro, going by my notes. What I forgot to mention is engagement. Please do continue to comment. I love reading the comments. I generally try and respond as and when I go through them now, where I can or where a response I think might be needed. It's always good to hear from you. I always enjoy that engagement. Part of this family we have in Flosstube. It means a lot. So please do continue to engage in that way. Drop a wee comment. Let me know what you're working on. Always sends me scurrying off, particularly when there's pieces I've never heard of and you get some nice surprises. Oh god, I can tell this is going to be one with lots of M's and A's. I don't know where is my fluency this morning. If you want to get in touch with me over email, please do. My email address is stuartsandstitches@gmail.com, and I'm also Instagram at stuartsandstitches, same as the YouTube, the Flosstube handle. I post on Instagram generally twice a day. Usually, well, it depends if Andrew's running, which you will hear more about later on. Generally for my temperature stitching and then for my saga stitching, and if I remember later on in the day, whatever else I've been working on that day. I have been a bit remiss in that this week, but I will show you what I've been working on as we go through the video. So today we're going to be looking at whips, but I'm busy looking at my list to make sure I'm not missing anything, which hasn't worked, but we'll keep going anyway. Whips, got some haul. The stash ban ended last weekend. Oh. Joy. A huge bit of stitch of kindness. I need to show you something I made. That was an experiment or a prototype. Wee bit of plans, and that should see us through this morning's video. So let's have a wee start on temperature stitching. Usual blurb at the start of my temperature stitching. Those of you who are familiar with my process of that, take a slurp of your tea, coffee, water, whatever you're drinking, while I rattle through what my temperature stitching is. I have 10 projects which I have assigned as 0 to 9, and the high temperature of that day per the BBC weather app, pick your app of choice, will tell me what piece I'm going to stitch on. If it's in double digits as we are now in the Scottish summer, inverted commas, those two words are a bit of a oxymoron, but hey ho. When we're in double digits, I take the last digit, and come the winter, when we go into negative numbers, I will take the absolute value, which will be the same process as if it's a positive number. Hope that made sense. So this week the temperatures haven't moved all that much. It's been in the low to mid-teens. There's been a few repeats, but that's all right. It's all good stitching. It all counts. So the first one I'm going to show you, I'll be leaning to the side because all these projects are down to the side of me. I've got 4 of them to share with you today out of 7 days. I did stitch for 7 days, but as I said, some of these were called 2 or 3 times. So the first one to share with you is no it's not, it's Fall Fairy. Let me just get that. This is well, I'll get a bit of it. Here's the rest of it coming up now. Right. This is a Dimensions Gold kit, a very well known one. It's very popular. Let me just put the bit that fell out back in. Or that will disappear into the morass that calls itself my stitching space. Right. So this came out, this was assigned to number 5, so I had a 15 in the temperature this week 3 times. We had it Sunday, Monday and Friday. So, I get quite a bit of work. I'm just counting all the stitches, regardless whether it's half stitch, full stitch, or whatever stitch. It's a stitch, as far as my counting goes. I generally do 100 stitches a day on these pieces or thereabouts. And in theory, I would swap it out after it's appeared 10 times, unless I want to keep going. My temperature stitching, my rules. So I'm probably going to keep going with this. Let's see if I can get to the top of this page that I'm working on, which is the top quarter of the piece. So I'm up in this quadrant, that one there somewhere, as you will see. And I'm enjoying it, it's good fun, I'm liking the colours, lovely bright blues and yellows going on just now. It's been stitched in 16 count Ada that was provided, which I think is a dove grey, they tell me. No, just grey. 16 count grey cotton Ada with the called for Dimensions threads. And here's where we are. So I've been mainly working over, I was filling in here, there was a gap here that needed filled in, so that's now been all filled in. I'm just gradually creeping up. But it's coming on really well. I'm very pleased with the progress in this. This languished on the shelf for years. Till I eventually said, come on Stuart, you like the piece, let's get going. So that's exactly what I did. It's not too bad with it, even without the backstitch I can see butterflies here, there and everywhere. So that was that one. I got 3 stitching days this week. And I will tell you a total of stitches it got this week as well in a second or two. If I can do the sums, 125. Right, 125 plus 134. 125 is 259. And 259 plus 125. 259. So that'll be 379. 384, I think, is the total that I got. Anybody out there with a calculator to hand can correct me, but in my head that tells me 384. Right, so that can go down there. It's a nice piece to show you. And one of my favourite bags. One of the things I like to do is make project bags for myself and to sell. My shameless plug as always. So this is one of my vinyl fronted ones. I do these and I do fabric ones, and I've just test driven a new style as well, which we'll come to later on. One of my favourite fabrics in the bag. I can't remember the lady's name now. This is dreadful. I need to write these down at the time. But I'd asked where else I might be able to get this kind of this peacock, Japanese peacock fabric, which I absolutely love. And she suggested Oh So Crafty here in the UK. So I've had a look at the website and I see things I like. So there'll be possibly some purchases being made. That reminds me, by the way, there's some more fabric I need to haul out to show you. Hold a second, I'm just going to put you on pause. Right, and we're back and the counter is running again, so that's fine. We should be recording safely. So, Cardinal Kinwood is next in my pile. That came up on Wednesday when the high temperature was 12, so 2 is Cardinal Kin for me. And that got 117 stitches this week. This is a Plum Street sampler piece, looking like this. You'll all be as familiar with my temperature stitching now as I am. So there's that. I'm using the called for threads. There are 2 colour variations for this. There's a brighter one and a more muted one. I will do both. At the moment I'm doing the brighter one, I think. And here, this is the colour palette for both. It's a bit of a tangle and needs a bit combed through. We all know how I'll have to comb my threads. I'm not going to pull that. I think that's about to come out for somewhere. I'm not going to risk that. It's been stitched on a piece of 32 count West Green Loft Yarns hand dyed linen from October 24, and it's called Chalk. And we're making some good progress. So Daddy is done. We're on to Mummy, and then there's going to be Baby up at the top. Let me just sort this into some sort of viewing order for you, just so as we can see what's going on. I'm really pleased how this is turning out. It's been long enough. So I just wonder what happened there. My laptop screen suddenly popped into light, or the monitor, which is displaying a wonderful wintry scene for some reason. Snow in the fields and hills. God, oh, it tells me it's called Winter Landscape. Figures. Right, here we go. So here's where we are. So I've just been working up on this week. It's looking good. I like the colours. I think this will be lovely. And this will be turned into a wee cushion when it's finished. I said when. I'm surely sure this will get finished. And I just cut it out and put some light fabric on the back, stuff it. I think I'll put a wee bit of chenille trim. I asked some time ago about how to do that, and you all pointed me to some videos, Vona and Helen Easton, so that was very helpful. I still haven't made my project board yet. I still need to buy myself a wee glue gun. That'll be an Amazon trip. Anyway, very pleased how that's looking. So that can go away. And I say that got 100 and something, 117 stitches. Right, what else came out this week? Right, my old friend Tom of Finland. This is what I call one of my naughty stitching pieces. I think it's the only one I've got in the go just now. Probably just as well. This is inspired by Carl, who wanted me to do this. What's that? I see a wee mark on my fabric, but it's going to be covered, so it'll be alright. Who'd spotted these many years ago and said, you've got to get these. So, being the obedient husband I am, I did. And I finished the first one and I started the second one, but it's been hanging on and on. They're all the same colour palette, and it's all shades of greys and whites. You're looking at 3865, 310, 413, 317. And I love working in colour generally, but it does stitch up well when it's done. As you see, I see a bicep now that wasn't there last time. We have an owl strategically placed, and here it is. What am I stitching this on? Did I keep the label for this one? No, I didn't. This is on 28 count, and I'm fairly sure it's one of Stephanie's fabrics, hand-dyed fabric by Stephanie. And here's where we are. So I was working up in this arm here. So we've got the shipwrecked sailor on the ground, and this is the guy who lives in the desert island. And they're just beginning to get acquainted. So that's coming on well. It's good for temperature stitching this because I'm only doing 100 stitches at a time. I don't get fed up, it's alright. And I'll keep this one going because it's had beyond its 10 days, I think, by now. But I was telling Carl my plans would be every 12 hours. He just looked at me. Don't you dare. I thought, oh, alright, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. So that got, what did that get this week? That came out on Thursday when the temperature was 14, which is a 4, and it got 107 stitches. It's due today as well. I think I had a wee check of the temperature earlier. And the last piece I have to show you, this is new to temperature stitching for me. This gets swapped in for number, what did this come in for? Number 3. So that replaced Pretty, which I showed you last week. And this is a lavender and lace piece, quite an old piece. It's one I've had for a long time. If you see me following me on Instagram, you'll know what I've been up to. It's Blue Moon Angel by Lavender and Lace. It's been stitched on, I can't even remember the name of this fabric. I'm fairly sure it's I think this came as a kit, or I kitted it up from So and So in the good old days when So and So was a thing. Wonderful online shop up there with Arts and Designs and all those other wonderful places. And it's been stitched on 32 count linen. As you know, I don't normally do 32 count where beads are involved, but in those days I didn't know any better for myself. However, we'll plug away. It'll work out all right. We can just interpret the placement, as they say. So here's where we are. Let me just peeking round the corner just so as I can see what you're seeing. So I was just working in the blue moon. So starting up here, and I started building up the kind of yellow glow around the face. So it got 2 days this week. My stomach's rumbling, breakfast and coffee haven't happened yet. So that's where we are. Let me just bring it in a wee bit. And I also found this dragon needle minder that I forgot I had. Or I knew in the recesses of my mind I had, but I had absolutely no idea where it was till I did this out. Which came from Handmade by Greta, it tells me on the back. And it was a limited edition. So there we are. So that'll be getting seen more often. I'm very pleased to have picked that up again. I do like lavender and lace. So that got 2 days stitching. That got Tuesday and yesterday, and the high temperature was 13. So I got 115 and 121, which is 236. 1, 2, 3, 236, yep. And that was all the temperature stitching last week. Not bad. Good amount of stitching in them. And then the other regular daily stitch at the moment is Saga. This is for Andrew the Runner Stitcher's marathon training schedule. He's running a marathon at the end of August. To this day, I've still not checked out which marathon it is. All I know is it's a marathon at the end of August. And as part of his training to support the training, he asked us all to join in with the marathon schedule with him. And this is the nearest I will ever get to a marathon. Oh, something else was running through my head there that I meant to say. With one of my pieces, Cardinal Kin, no, it might come back. There's something else somebody had mentioned in the comments and I meant to speak a bit about it and I forget. It doesn't matter, it'll come to me if it does. Andrew and the marathon, this is the closest I ever get to training for running a marathon. Believe me, this was not made for running. So he posted up his schedule. I have linked that video in the spreadsheet, I think, in the comments below, so you can go and hear him all about it. What we do is we pick a whip. The hashtag for it is whip into shape. And every day that he trains, you would stitch 10 stitches for every mile he runs in this training. Or if you're not a counter but prefer stitching by time, you would stitch for the amount of time he ran that day. And you would stitch on that piece for the entirety of his marathon training, and we should all see good progress. So I thought, yes, I like that, but I'm not just doing 10 stitches a mile. I mean, that's hardly worth getting out of bed for. So I'm doing 100 stitches for every day he trains. Other people are doing different things. So Jessie Marie, for example, is doing 26 stitches per mile, per stitch. 26 stitches per mile, yes, that's right. Given a marathon is 26.2 miles, which makes perfect sense. And there are various interpretations going on. But the key thing is just to join in and support Andrew in his marathon training and get some good progress on one of your whips. So I'm doing Saga, which I'm absolutely loving. And I'm stitching this in a piece of 40 count Country Mocha from Zweigart. I was looking at it thinking I don't think it's vintage, I think it's just Country Mocha, this one. I'm using a Silks for You PRO34, which is a lovely red. And here's where we are. It's looking so good. So we've got the horse finished. We're all the way along here. His ears done. We've got a wee birdie in the top. And we've started this. Not sure if it's a castle in the air or a ship or something anyway. But that's what we did this week. So we've basically filled in all of this. There is a slight counting error in the horse. I defy you to find it. It hasn't knocked anything else out, and I am not taking it back for it. It can live. So I'm very pleased with that. I'm loving the progress. Because when I picked this up, I'd only done along here to the rabbit and kind of up to about there. So my progress on this, I think last time I think I've put in about 2,700 odd stitches on it now since we started the training. I'm so pleased. I really enjoy this, 100 stitches a day. Although, Andrew's, you have to keep an eye on that spreadsheet of his because he does rejig his schedule depending on weather and life events. So I think the weather in New York has got a bit of a change coming up. So yesterday was supposed to be a rest day. So I didn't stitch, but then it posted on Instagram, and I thought, oh, I better go have a look, and discovered now he has been running. So I've got yesterday's to stitch as well as today's, but we get a couple of 2 or 3 rest days next week because he's off to StitchCon. So Andrew, if you're watching this, have a good time at StitchCon. That'll be an amazing experience. Looking forward to hearing all about it. I'm sure there'll be lots of people talking about that in Flosstube. Anyway, I hope you're all enjoying this extended look at my version of Saga. I love that. I think it's so good. Right, and the only other piece I worked on this week is a sal that Michelle at Mama Loves You GB and I started together. Michelle has never stitched a fancy lady before and decided that now was the time. So the piece she showed a few weeks ago was a piece I already had the chart and the bead pack for, as I mentioned to her. I really must stop mentioning things like that. I just get roped in. You think I would know by now? Me and my big gob. She said, oh, we can do a sal, which we've called #Virgin Lady Sal on her behalf because it's her first one. I have done many fancy ladies in my stitching lifetime. I'll say many, I've done a few. Many might be stretching it a little. And we started Miss Cherry Blossom by Mirabilia. Let me show you what she's going to look like one day. I have her on my tablet. Oh, that's the thing I was going to talk about. Now, I now remember, or one of the things anyway, because it's my tablet. I have my tablet up that brought it to mind. Right, here's the picture. There it is. So, here's Miss Cherry Blossom. There we go. So we both started this. I think Michelle started somewhere in the middle. I, as usual, have started down in the bottom and worked my way over to the whatever that corner is. As I look at it, it'll be my left, on the left as I face the project. It's a good one to start with. She's big. I haven't got as much done in this as I'd hoped because general stitching I didn't get as much done in my general stitching this week due to various bits and pieces going on. However, such is life. I'm stitching this in a piece of 28 count opalescent sparkling fabric from Crafty Kate, one of the fabrics of the month. I'm in her fabric of the month club, and I recently changed to opalescent. I mean, who doesn't need sparkly fabric in their life? And here's where we are. So we're stitching this on 28 count. It's with the call for DMCs, and this is what we've done. So we've got the kind of ribbon at the bottom here, and the start of the dress. We've got a cherry blossom thing going on there. But I imagine these are bits of cherry blossom scattered throughout the dress. So it is actually quite a lot when I look at that. There's a fair few stitches going on in there. So I'm happy with that. I'll keep going for a few days yet before we decide it's time to rotate out. I haven't caught up with Michelle to see how far she's got and how she's enjoying it, but that conversation will happen. Should maybe mention it in her Sunday morning briefing, which I haven't watched yet, given it's I'm not at that stage of watching things today. But I'm pleased how that's turning out. I'm enjoying it on the sparkling fabric. The blanks are Over here will be for beads. There are a few beads in there, here and there and everywhere, as is always the case. But it's good fun. I noticed one or two in the comments were talking about joining in, doing a Fancy Lady or a Nora Corbett. Please feel free. Nora Corbett still counts as Mirabilia. It's maybe a bit smaller, but that doesn't matter. It's all stitching. It's all Fancy Lady stuff. So that's all the stitching this week. So as I said, I'm stitching every day, which is good. I'm very lucky that I'm able to do that. And I think that's it as far as the stitching goes. Let's have a look at my notes or my diary. No, we're good. We're fine. Right. Yep, we're all good. Okay, so what's next? Oh, woohoo. You'll remember I was in a stash ban, which ended last week. My friend and I have rather, welcomed the lifting of the ban for our various reasons, and life now progresses as normal at last. So, let's have a look. Where are we? Right. So I'm busy looking at the pile over here trying to work out what's what. And some of it dropped. I just knew that was going to happen. Hang on. Right. Stash ban. So I made an order with arts and designs, and some things arrived in the post. Oh, that was a joy. Oh, I was so happy. I felt life is normal again. Or as normal as my life ever gets. That doesn't belong here again. It's for such a kindness, that one. Right, so first on the top of the pile is Heart and Hand Needle Art. This is Nativity Tiny Town. So that's going to look like that. It came with 2 wee charms as well. There's a couple of wee stars there and over here by the camel. I've got a couple of tiny towns already. I've never done them before. I've never stitched them yet. However, this is for the November retreat from the Scottish Stitching Retreat. We're running a sal at the retreat for a tiny town. Ideally Nativity, but any tiny town. And we're all going to be starting them at the weekend and see how far we get. No idea what I'm going to stitch it on yet, or with what, but nonetheless, I have the chart, so that's a good thing. Next up is Blackbird Designs that was on my list. Away We Ride. Again, a well-known one. So I'm going to be doing this in the called for Gentle Arts thread. I have an order in with 123 Stitch at the moment. Part of which, yes, I said part of which, there is more in it. Is the threads for this. So I'm looking forward to starting that. I've always liked this design. Don't know if I'll do the fabric as dark as that, but we'll have a look. We'll see what's in the stash. All I've ordered is threads because I've got tons of fabric. And then the other thing that came was a Bella Filipina. Who doesn't like Bella Filipina charts? So I finally got around to buying the Enchanted Rose, part of the princesses that Drin's doing. So this is Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Stunning, beautiful as always. You'll remember from last year probably I finished Cinderella in the glass slipper. Now I loved her. The arch was a bit of a pain. This arch and the metal bar was a bit of a pain, but we got there. We just plugged away at it and eventually got finished. And I got the bead pack. Because why not? Might as well have all this stuff. So that was good. So that was my Arts and Designs first venture into haul again. I was delighted when that arrived. If you order with them, in the morning, it's posted out that afternoon, and Royal Mail been up to scratch. It'll pop through your letterbox the following day. In the UK, it's brilliant. Can't beat it. So there's that. And then at Christmas and my birthday, Carl introduced me to the joys of Cosmo Floss. which I have. He got me, between the pair of them, he got me 50 colours. There were some duplicates, but that's fine. One never complains about having duplicate colours of anything. So let me organise this up here a wee bit. I don't need that anymore at the moment. So for the ones I had already, I have them organised now. I need to get these onto another ring. So these are on blank chips that I bought from Pip and Chip, blank floss drops. And I organised all these. Look at these. This is just 50 of them. So there's, the full set is about 501, I think. 501. So these were blank acrylic floss drops. And the Pip and Chip also provide a set of labels for Cosmo, which you then stick on, which is brilliant. And you know me, I love a floss drop. So that's them, and I've got the full set of stickers. I've got about another 100 of these sitting around, because I only bought about 200, so I'll build that set up gradually. So I'm very pleased with that. So I say I need to get them onto another ring, because I've got another 48 now to squeeze in there somewhere. So that's what I had. And then, in fact, when I was Googling on the internet, by the way, if anybody in the UK, or anybody knows a UK supplier for Cosmo threads, please tell me. I have hunted high and low, and I'm struggling to find anybody who does them, because I'd like to start buying some every month just to gradually build up my collection of them, because I do like them. They're lovely to work with. The colours are vibrant, and I think I will enjoy stitching more and more with them. So Fat Quarter Shop had 4 packs of them in 4 colour collections, 12 skeins each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So I've got a leafy green one. So lots of greens. A lavender set. Oh, there's lots of glare going on. There we go. We've got a golden wheat, which is lovely. They would work for Lacapati, I think, possibly Bella Filipina, some of those. And then we've got a red camellia. So these arrived on Friday, and it was all I could do not to pull them out of the pack, so I thought I'll keep them in there to keep them tidy to show you. And I can now get these out and gradually get them wound on to more floss drops. So I'm very pleased with that, absolutely delighted. As I say, I made an order with 1, 2, 3 Stitch, so that'll, I just did that on Friday night. So that should come in the next fortnight or so, hopefully. Brilliant for the UK people. It's only what, $4.49 or something like that. $4.49 postage from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. I have no idea how they do it. I ask no questions. Just accept it gratefully. So the next thing we have to share now is, where are we anyway? Oh, this might be a short video. It's only half an hour, right? Oh, I might need to see what I can do to fill out, because I didn't put as much in as I normally do, because I thought I've got a lot to talk about. Maybe I haven't. We'll see. Right, next thing, Stitchy Kindness. Let me just lift all this over. Right, so a long-standing stitching friend of mine on Facebook, who I've had the pleasure of knowing on Facebook for a long time and meeting in real life, Gail, her name is. She is a keen fancy lady stitcher amongst many other things, and she reached out to me last week to say she was having a bit of a de-stash for some charts and fabrics. Would I be interested? Does the Pope have a balcony? And everyone took a gift horse in the mouth. I said yes please. I didn't think the email had got cold before I was replying. So later on this week, towards the end of the week, a lovely parcel arrived. Oh my goodness, you should have seen it. Huge, was to say. There was a whole pile of fabric and there's tons of, I think she got rid of all her kind of fat quarters and odd bits of 32 count. And there is I haven't brought that up to show you because there's too much. But there's some gorgeous stuff in there, some opalescence, hand dyes. There's stuff there that'll keep me going for years. I'm very happy. And then there was all the other bits, the charts that she sent me, and some a couple of bead packs. So she sent me a bead pack for a Nora Corbett project. She didn't have the chart for. I don't have the chart for either. But the beads will get used. I even see there's Magnifica beads in here. They are rarer than hen's teeth these days. So this is the chart pack, the bead pack embellishment pack for Aries, one of the astrology signs. So it was lovely to get that. Then we got a Bella Filipina one that I hadn't seen before. Crystal Mermaid Aquabella. She's gorgeous. I don't know how that one slipped under my radar. So that's going to have to be done. And the bead pack. Couldn't believe that. Amazing. So chuffed to bits with that. Got Lavender and Lace Bride, Irie Wed. Marilyn Living in Blue did a series of kind of Victorian style brides. So that'll be a nice stitch actually. Not quite sure who I would do that for, but we shall see. Then we've got a series of Nora Corbett Mirabilia charts. So we've got, this is a Pixie Couture one, Fern. Another lovely piece. Let's put these into some sort of order. Nora Corbett, Nora Corbett. Where are we going? Right, there we are. Then there's Lavender. This is Spring Garden Party Collection for Pixie Couture. Very pretty. I probably wouldn't have rushed out to buy these myself. I mean, they are nice. And I will stitch this now that I've got it in my hand. It'll be a reasonably quick stitch. Yes, Stuart, keep telling yourself that. And then another Pixie Couture collection, Daisy. So a kind of young girl who doesn't quite know what to do with her feet when she's standing. Right, so that was those. Oh no, there is another one. There's one in the new style. So this is a Pond Pixie one. So this is Water Reeds. This is an A4 booklet style. So there's 4 lovely designs there that will stitch up quite nicely, I think. There'd be a nice stitch, like kind of holiday stitch or something like that, maybe. And then there's a Mirabilia. Oh, what's happened to the picture? There was a picture there. I have this thing of Mirabilia pictures. They keep disappearing or keep dropping off. Let's just get you back in. Oh, come on. Aye, that'll do. And this one is Blackbeard's Princess, Mirabella, by Mirabilia. There she is. That's a well-known piece. So I'm liking that. That skin will not be getting done 1/1, by no manner of means. But she's a lovely one. Like the wee seahorses. That'll be a fun one to stitch. I'm sensing a fancy lady ear line ahead of me somewhere. I'm saying if I'm going to do my full coverages, they'll get sadly neglected. And then she sent me a couple of Teresa Wentzler tarts. I mean, the goodness just keeps coming. So we've got the Mermaid. Which I've always looked at, and now that I have it, I'm thinking this could be a start at some point. She's big. I mean, I've looked at the chart. The chart's massive. Showing the back of it won't give me too much. Now look at that. And that's the 1/1 detail and the back stitching there. But look at the key. Look at the key in this. All those blends. And that's just all, that page and all of that is blends. Seriously? How on earth am I supposed to cope with that? I'll find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, as they say. So, and there was She also dropped into it the castle, which I already have, but another version of the chart is always good in case, because it's always handy to have. At least you can possibly mark one off. Although this might be easier for me to photocopy because it's in distinct pages, which will fit in the photocopier, which will help when I'm working on it. So, Gail, thank you. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but thank you so much. These have found a very good home, and I'm hoping to see more of your stitching, though. I hope this doesn't mean the end of your stitching. I know you've been telling me you're a bit tired and everything, but keep going with that stitching. You stitch beautifully and you stitch some beautiful stuff. Thank you, is all I can say. Thank you. Right. So that's that. Now, what else came this week? Back to haul. Hang on a second, just to move things around. Carl, my beloved husband, found somewhere to buy fabric for bags and things. Sent me some snips and Messenger said, "Any of these you fancy?" And he's very coy about where he's getting. He won't tell me where his suppliers. I don't know if you ever watched Hinge and Bracket, but Dr. Evadne Hinge was always very secretive when she went into her garden shed. She always kind of was looking around to make sure nobody was looking before she went in. That is Carl to a T when he's doing things like this. When he's buying me stuff or showing me stuff. He likes to keep things close to his chest. I don't mind. I benefit from it greatly. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 meters of fabric, which I thought were quite fun. So we've got cactus. I liked all of them. That's why I picked them. Then we got this one with glasses on, Prosecco's and gins and all sorts of goodness, seeing we're into the summer. These are all going to be turned into bags of some form or fashion. Very happy. Then we got one. This kind of reminds me, was it Andy Warhol style stuff with all the dots and everything. I might be wrong in my choice of artist there. I'm sure somebody will let me know who I'm thinking of. But there's another fun one. Not sure if that would do for the outside of a bag or the lining. Probably both, to be honest. And it's non-directional, thank goodness. I need to watch that cactus one. It's directional fabric, and so we can make sure what's going where. And then so are the next two. This is a fun one. I'm not sure this is somebody Finding Nemo. I'm sure I saw something about Disney on the selvage. Aye, Disney Presents and Pixar. Finding Nemo, exactly what it is. There we go. Isn't that fun? Right, where are we? And we have some flamingos, pink flamingos. Has anyone ever watched Pink Flamingo? Are they going to admit to watching Pink Flamingos with Divine? I watched it once only, once for all, never again. But that was an experience watching that. Carl's a huge fan of Divine and John Waters. And says, "You've got to watch this." I thought, alright, okay then, in all innocence. Sat down to watch it. Rose, after watching it, absolutely traumatised. But it's a cult one. It's one that is part. It's part of this the film ethos, and it is well worth a watch, just for that. But make sure you have a strong stomach. Is all I'm saying. Anyway. There we go. Another digression. The fence hasn't had any progress yet. We haven't had 2 decent consecutive days. The front grass is badly needing cut as well, which is my job. So we live in hope for some dry days, some consecutive dry days for both these tasks to be achieved. Got a hanging basket out front now. Went to Klondike Garden Centre up the road from us near Falkirk the other day there, which is great. I love it. Well, I get paid. When do I get paid again? A week and Tuesday. So we'll go for another visit to see what else we can buy. I do like a garden centre, especially that one. So good. So big. So much stuff. Right. There was that. Oh, I know I forgot to bring through. I need to go to my shelf. I forgot to bring through stuff to show you from the shelf. Pause again. Please hold. And we're back. So, I just put my hand on the shelf at random, pulled out 2 envelopes just to see what we got. So we've got 2 Mirabilias again. It seems to be like a Mirabilia Nora Corbett sort of day to day, one way or another. These were bought some time ago. No, the first one I'm looking at, I bought that probably just after I bought Red. So that was back 2015-16 possibly. As the Polly Pocket. And what have we got in here? You might be asking yourself, well, I know exactly because I'm looking at it. We have Ella, the Frog Princess. When did this come out? This is number 129. Do we have a date? Copyright 2013 this came out. This is an oldie. Oldie but a goodie, a bit like myself. I like this one. I love that big dress. So I've got that. I've even got some fabric for her as well. I don't know if I'll use this now. It's a permanent one, so it's a stiff linen, which is fine. I don't mind working in that. I might find something different for her, but that's what I've got to put aside for her. I don't know if that's called for or not. French lace, it says 32 count French lace. It is French lace and it is 32 count, so it will not be done in 32 count because I'm sure there'll be a wheen of beads going on in here. I've got a bead pack and I've got a metallic spool of something, acrylic. There we are, bead pack and the acrylic. So that's all ready for going as well as a fancy lady at some point. Not on that fabric though. Let me just put this away. So the shelf of surprises is certainly holding some surprises today. And then we have another piece. Again, trusty Polly Pocket from Asda. Way before I started making project bags, although I generally don't make them for myself nowadays. Right, and this one is, what have we got here? The Fairy Moon. Which is, I think, quite an old one as well. 1993, 2018. Oh, I got this when it came out as a 25-year, when the 25-year anniversary came up in 2018. I got this one. There we are. So it must be out of print, I suspect. I got that, and I got the bead pack. Yes, lots of nice beads going on there. So that's good. I do like the fancy ladies. I enjoy stitching them. There's just not enough hours in the day, or days in the month, and months in the year. You know the drill. We're all the same. Thankfully, I'm a process stitcher and not a finisher. I just love the process of stitching. Hence why I have so many whips to choose from. So that's 2 things for the shelf of surprises. So we'll keep going with that as you seem to enjoy seeing what I have lurking in my stash. Now, at the beginning I said I had tried to make something. And I was very happy with how it turned out. The fabric is not very exciting because this was a prototype, so I just used calico. So well, if it goes wrong, it's only calico, it's not the end of the world, I'll get ditched. But it seems to have turned out okay and I'm very pleased. I don't know what to call it apart from I think it's a project portfolio. It's kind of A4 size. I'm saying A4 size. I've got a bit of A4 handy. Hang on. There's usually some paper scattered a bit here. I've fit A5. That doesn't belong there. A4. So that's alright. It covers A4, so it would fit a chart in that quite happily. So, bit of elastic closure. Padded, 2 layers of padding there of H640. for those who know about such things. And then inside, I did two styles of pocket. I did a fabric pocket and I did a vinyl fronted pocket. And these are both attached such that you get two pockets behind as well. And bound all the way around with the backing fabric just rolled over. So a nice deep pocket there. And a nice vinyl one here, complete with a zip. And these zips are straight, by the way. Nice vinyl fronted. I've ordered some more glittery fabrics. I was running out, so that's now been ordered from Dunelm. If Crafty Emily has left any behind, 'cause I know she was going through purging the stores of them all. I thought I managed to find some online. So I was very pleased how that turned out. There was just a kind of idea. I bought a couple of things from Canny Little Fox. I thought I can make something like that for myself. And I had a pattern from somewhere else for a sort of a bit of this. And I thought, right, let's see what I can cobble together here. So, duly cobbled together. It took me a couple of days' time. I'd kind of cut everything out and worked out how it was all going to hang together. These pockets are lined with kind of lightweight interfacing, just to give them a bit of stiffness, a bit of body. So I'm very happy with that's turned out. So now that I know how that works, I'm probably going to, at some point, make one with nice fabric. I mean, the calico actually looks nicer than I thought it would, and I'll use this. I'm meeting up with some friends a couple of weeks' time, so I'm going to take this just to get their comments on it, for hints, tips, improvements, and general kind of review. But I'm very pleased how that turned out. And it's a good size. It'll fit up on a shelf quite nicely. And it closes up nicely. I did notice when I put the elastic on, there's nothing straight going on with that elastic between top and bottom. But again, that's just practice and getting a bit more accurate measurement going on there. So I was very pleased with that. So that just basically that pattern came out of my head, and I thought, oh, there's maybe something going on up there after all, in the little grey cells. Right. So that's what Stuart's been up to this week. Not too bad a week, actually, not too dusty, let's be honest. What are the plans then for the week ahead? Well, temperature stitching and Saga will continue. I'll be a bit catching up to do in Saga. I'll either do 200 today or 150 today and 150 on Monday. That'll bring us back on track. And I'll see how that goes. Temperature stitching today is Tom of Finland, Naughty Stitching. Because it's 14, I looked at earlier. I'm just looking around to see what else there is. And Miss Cherry Blossom, I think I'll give her a couple more days at least just to do a wee bit more on her before I decide what else I might want to stitch on this week. Which is unknown at the moment. I'm busy looking around. There's some bits and pieces in here that really should be getting pulled out and worked on. We'll see. What else is going on this week? I don't think this week's a quiet week. We haven't got much in the diary. If it's dry one day, I'm going to get into the garden. I really need to cut the front grass because it's beginning to look a wee jungle in there. If next door's cats go wandering in, all you just see is a tail peeking up. You know there's something moving along. It's like a bit like a telescope. Up periscope. I think that's all I've got because I'm rabbiting now. I'm busy looking around to see if there's anything springing to mind that I need to be talking about with you. I think that's allowed. No. I'll wind on those Cosmo threads, get them onto more floss drops, which I shall enjoy very much. That's always great fun. I love doing that. Right, that's it. So, thank you for spending some time with me this Sunday. I always enjoy this on a Sunday. This it's like a reset, review of the week ahead, catch up with all of you, tell you what the week looked like. Sorry, a review of the week past. I was playing that through my head. I was speaking there thinking that didn't sound right. Yeah, a review of the week past, catching up with you, letting you know what's been going on, and we talk about what's coming up, and then we'll reconvene next Sunday as usual. As always, please drop a comment. Always enjoy reading them. Carl's always want to know what the gossip is. What are they saying this week? What's going on? So please do continue that. Let me know what you're working on. You can get me an email as well, as I said before, Stuart McCook. No. That's my own email address, stuartsandstitches@gmail.com, and then also on Instagram at stuartsandstitches. What else is there? Was there something else going through my head there? Yes, if you're interested in bags of any sort, as I usually say, please just get in touch. We can have a wee chat around what I've got and what I might be able to do for you, and we take it from there. And that's it. So have a good week of stitching, happy stitching, and I shall see you next Sunday. Bye.